Today's a press record and see what happens. I didn't have a definitive thing that I wanted to talk about, but literally as I was looking at the record button to press it, my mind started going into soccer mode. Just because I worked with a couple soccer players today, I had a meeting that soccer was around, and the thought was I was listening to another coach, and he was talking about how the film sessions and using that type of stuff and using film feedback during sessions, etc. And based on where we are, where I'm living, I kind of went the kids don't know the sport here, plain and simple. So they haven't played it enough. You have to get very lucky to get great coaching throughout your career. So if it's a high schooler, I don't think about film really at all, because I look at film as you've got an understanding of how to play this game, and by seeing yourself, we're going to be able to influence the decisions that you make. But kids in the town that I live in, they don't watch the sport. They barely know how to play the sport. If high level, the best World Cup matches that you're watching right now, simply put, neurologically, they are seeing really fast, or hearing really fast, or sensing really fast, like a post-up player. I feel this guy on my left shoulder. That will lead whatever they're sensing, whether it be sight, sound, just sensation on their body, pressure, whatever, that will go into the brain and get interpreted. What does all of this mean? What's the decision that I need to make based on what all that means? And then the body executes. So simply, we're going to call it see, decide, act. That is the sport. That is every sport. That is everything. Every situation really in life comes down to some sense. Make sense of all of that, of this incoming input, and then make a decision on what to do with it, and then execute whatever that might be. So in the game of soccer, it could be the simplest places, and the places where I actually see teams in lower level areas improve in, are dead ball situations. So a goal kick, there's not the decisions, the time to make a decision is much bigger. Hey, the ball is down, it's not in play until we touch it. So you see a lot of teams actually getting really good at an initial build out on a goal kick. If they aren't training on a full field, they don't understand how to get it from, your defensive third to the attacking third. So often what I see is I look at it and go, if we're patient, they'll give it to us. Because again, no kids in my area really know how to play the sport. They're very athletic. And instead of playing see, decide, act, they play act, see, decide, act. And just that action first slows the whole game down, and it makes it reaction based. So a kid will kick it, and the next kid will touch it, act, look around, make a decision on a reaction, and then pass it to someone else. That person takes a touch, goes, now what? Makes a decision, acts on it. It's too slow. If soccer is a team sport and you have a collective 11 players understanding the situation that they're in, often it's based on what the opponent is doing, where the opponent is, then that's what we see on TV. As that ball's coming, most of the time, the guy that's about to receive it has an idea of what's next. And it is that's why I think it is called the beautiful game. It's because it's the most blended between planned action and reaction out of any sport. Yes, a baseball player at bat has to see the ball flight, see the spin on the lace on the seams, determine where is it going, make a decision. Do I swing? Do I not? And then the execution happens. Where in the sport of soccer, you can play a reaction-based game all day. Get it? Now what? Play it over there. That person says, get it? Now what? Play it over there. It's reactive. Versus, hey, we've noticed the opponent is playing, they're giving us more space on the outside. So the team understands we want something to happen in wide areas. How can we open up those wide areas? Typically, you place something into the middle and you bounce it out. You could also go outside, inside, out. So just by having a understanding of the game that you're playing in a big picture really helps that decision-making piece. What's going on around me? What am I sensing? Oh, opponents are inside. They're packing the middle of the field. I see 2 lanes of space on either side. As a team, we would make a decision that, hey, we're getting around the outside. That would mean in a goal kick situation, it would be the center back knows that he's going to get it. He knows he's going to play the outside back. He takes that look before the ball is coming just to make sure he's still on. He receives it. As he's receiving it, that outside back is already making a decision on, do I have space to drive line? Do I have a man on me? Does the winger need to drop for me, or does the winger get to push up? And ultimately, it's based on how close is that closest defender to that outside player. If he's far away, that outside player has made a decision. Great, I've got space that I can take. I'm looking for a midfielder. The midfielder is already seeing, the center back is getting it. The outside back is getting it. The outside back has space. He's going to drive. I'm going to need to be a support option inside as they collapse. He's already drawing his defender somewhere else to check into the space that he wants to get it. The winger sees, nice, the outside back, he's got a ton of time on his hands. He's going to take this ball forward. He's going to advance. Let me get away from him. Let me get to the offside line. If that outside back is outside, maybe I go inside. If that outside back is a little inside, maybe I stay outside and maintain the width. So it's a much different sport when you see it on TV than the average game that the kids are playing in the United States. And the smaller states, the ones that aren't doing so well in the development of their soccer populations, it's non-existent. You might see it for 2 or 3 passes on a goal kick, but it's a dead ball situation. So the idea of winning the ball back in the midfield and going, now what? Often there is a reaction moment. I want it, I look, I find an option. Maybe there's one more reaction moment based on the amount of time this took to where the next pass gets it, looks, and plays. But often what you see on TV is that they get the ball back and they just establish possession with it because they know reaction, 2, 3, 4 reactions in a row are going to probably lead to a giveaway. You really have to get lucky. And that's really the sport in the state that I'm in. And it's that idea of we're going to use film and we're going to do this and we're going to do all of these fancy things. I'm like, they don't know the sport. Like they play the sport, they think they know it, but if you watch a game, it's like a reaction, we kept it, kick it, be very athletic, see if you can win it back up there, and if you can't, now we're going to win it back because they will react, kick it. Or maybe you get 3 passes in a row before the ideas, it's reaction. It's like the window closes on reaction-based play. If we have a action-based play, a planned action-based play, the windows stay open because now you're essentially manipulating an opponent to play where you want to play. So that was a very interesting one, and it was like you can't really learn the sport if you don't play it a lot. We live in a world now that you can watch so much soccer on TV. In my own career, I remember the first time I watched a live soccer match. It was 90. Oh no, it was the Women's Olympics, so it wasn't 94 Men's Olympics. It was what, 2000? No, 98? 98? Might be right. 98. But like the Brianna Scurry, so she's the goalkeeper, and I'd never seen a goalkeeper play that wasn't, in the club or at a camp that was roughly my age. Maybe I'd see someone 2, 3, 4 years older. But to be a kid playing in Oregon, watching a pro goalkeeper in a World Cup match, like I remember it being it was a tournament. We were in a tournament and we just had time off, so we were getting food at the grocery store. There was the electronics section in the grocery store. And like I'm walking in with mom, we're going to get snacks and whatever before the next game. And I just remember seeing this soccer game on all the TVs. And I went, hey, mom, I'm going to go just hang out in the electronics store. I'll get me whatever. And I just went and sat. I just sat in front of one of the TVs that was for sale and just went, this is awesome. And then Brianna Scurry made a PK save. I was like, I play that position. Like, this is freaking awesome. I just learned, like, she was so aggressive. That's what I remember. Like, everything was forward. She took a step forward. She dove forward. And I went, wow, I'm going to do that. That's available for every kid now, but I don't think any kid has the attention span to watch the sport. So what you see is they watch the highlights. So they don't understand the ebbs and flows of a 80, 90-minute soccer match. They think, download, everything should be a highlight. So they're pumping the ball, they're trying to get to goal-scoring situations well before anything is developed, and it's a very athletic and reaction-based game. So if we just keep putting it into your end, we're going to expect that you make a mistake. And we're hoping that we can capitalize on that mistake and score on you. So ultimately, our country is a much more reaction-based sport than a planned action-based. And I think it's like that's the foundation of it. It's not the sport that kids are playing when they're young. In every other country, it's probably the primary sport for most of these kids. We've got a population saying, don't let kids do the thing that they love the most. Make sure they're well-rounded. Like there are people making businesses and podcasts and all sorts of stuff saying, hey, don't have kids play the sport they want to play full-time. You don't want them to burn out. Adults create burnout. Kids don't. Like bad coaches, not great coaches, that's how kids burn out in anything. If they're supported and they have high expectations for what they can achieve, and their coaches and the staffs and everyone around them are helping, and the kids are enjoying themselves, and they are like maybe even laughing during their sport. I got back to the state that I'm from, and it was very, very serious. Like there was a team that like they were very good. For like they had a couple ideas. It was very reaction based, but they had some athletes. That's really what the separator is if you have some great athletes, you can do all right. So it was like I'm watching them play, and like they scored a goal, and there wasn't a smile. I thought it was so weird. Like it was such a it was a elite game. It's not like I don't even like in a Champions game. Like I don't know. It was odd. Like it was odd to see 11 players just kind of like whatever and go back to the half. No one got up off the bench. It was just kind of like something's wrong. Something's wrong with this. Like they're not enjoying themselves. They've installed this expectation that they should just win, or of course we scored a goal, and like they were good. They won a couple state titles in the state. I don't know how they did in the bigger picture of things, but they were pretty good. But like scoring goals, like it's the name of the game. It is a game, and games are supposed to be played, and playing is enjoyable, but these kids did not look like they were enjoying themselves, and I thought that was so odd. So, yeah, that was the thought was like, wow, we could do all of these fancy things, and I went, they don't watch the sport. They're not going to be able to pick up, and the argument would be, well, if you never start with them, I went, I start where I should start with most players in the state that I'm from, that I'm working in right now. I say that because in San Diego it was a completely different world. If San Diego's an A plus in school, I would put Oregon soccer more around the D plus, B, C minus. So that's really the reality of it's a smaller state. It has not adopted a lot of the things that the surrounding areas have. Like, look at California, look at Washington, and go, oh, Oregon missed it. They missed the memo that about everything. It seems like they just the top clubs in Washington kind of control their own league environment, where there's a state organization for Oregon, and there is a Washington organization, but they work with such lower levels, and the top level in Oregon was controlled by the same organization as the bottom of the bottom rec level, and it created just kind of a diluted pool. There's great potential here. There's a lot of great kids, but it's a diluted pool because of so many clubs. Quality coaching is spread out. You might, if you're at one club, you might run into two great coaches in your 6 to 8 year career. You might bounce around and get lucky and find 4 or 5, but most of the clubs with a U12 through U18, 19 system, you really have to get lucky. There's no oversight on coaching quality. There's no renewing licensing. There's no updating licensing. There's no one saying, hey, you are licensed. Are you using that license? It's just kind of it's a checkbox. Hey, I have this license that should get me paid a little bit more. I should have more prestige behind my name. People should take me more seriously. But again, I think I've been like, wow, 1 or 2 coaches, like, man, like they're really pushing the envelope for these kids. They are doing some great stuff. And again, like, you can get away with a lot in coaching world. Like, the worst coach out there can still help a kid improve by a year or so. But then what? And that's ultimately what I see. Like, I'm in the high school world, so I've got some freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors, and I look at working with them as let's go back and work on all the things that I'm sure you never got. So, like, we're going to work on clearing a ball. We're going to work on your first touch. We're going to work on holding a player off. We're going to work on 1v1 attacking and defending a lot. We're going to work on 2v1s because that's a big part of the game. If you can get the ball across the field to the other side quickly, again, with your team recognizing that this is happening, you can get a midfielder over, you can have a striker slide over, you can have an outside back join the attack, and you can create these 2v1 situations on the outside with their outside back, and it's a really good recipe for getting balls in the box. You see a lot of teams, like, that is what they're looking for. So they're patient, they move the ball side to side, and they're just looking for that moment that the other team kind of just takes a breath, doesn't quite do what they need to do, and they pounce on it. But that's a team idea. So a lot of the kids that I work with, it's like, hey, I know you're of this age, and I'm over the thought of, at this age you should know these things. I look at it as, okay, you've been around soccer. You've been playing a very reaction-based game. You've been relying on athleticism. You are playing seed-aside act, not seed-aside act, which is a much different game that you have to ultimately get lucky. Get lucky that the other team is also playing the same game. And what it looks like is a lot of people that are kind of in the middle of the park. It's very athletic. It's very fast. 1 or 2 passes are completed and give it away. 1 or 2 passes completed the other way, the team wins it back. 1 or 2 passes later and give it away and win it back. And it just becomes this game of transition. It's just back and forth, back and forth. There's no defensive set. There's no attacking shape. It's just be athletes and don't be the one that makes the mistake. And I think the sport is so much more than that. But if you look at our national team, when they meet soccer nations, like we're bigger than a Belgium. We're bigger than Spain. We are exponentially bigger than a lot of these countries. We have a ton of people. They did the Norway stat. There are the people in Norway are like the Miami, Tallahassee, like a section of Florida. Like that's how many people are in there. It's like, and we can't compete. Like it's unfortunately it's too big to get control of at the moment. But if we can start recognizing that, and honestly, like the way that kids are coached, I would prefer not have a coach. I would prefer have someone that gets them laughing, enjoys being with them, makes sure that they are having fun, and just playing the game. Oh, you have 4 players? Great, we're playing 2v2 today. You have 8 players. Awesome, let's play 4v4. And there's no coaching. Like I think a lot of the detriment to kids that I see in their high school world, they got bad coaching as little kids. And that's the place that you can teach them everything. Like I walk around and I'm aware. It's like at what age do they become flat out human? And it's like 6 years old, where they walk like a person, they run like a person, they are athletic. That's the time that you start building an environment around kids. Like that, again, if you can teach a kid Mandarin, I'm pretty sure you can teach a kid the game of soccer. But they don't. It's not anything like the sport. It's soccer activities. So yeah, like the kids that I have, it's like they can touch a ball, they can hit a ball, they can shoot and cross and head a ball, and that's what we've got the actions down, unless it's very fast. Then the actions start to break down. What did we see in USA's game against Belgium? 4 mistakes that little kids like that you shouldn't be making by that age. 2 guys watching a ball bounce in your own box, that is teachable. And they know that. They know it. Why would 2 defenders, a 1v2 in our favor, why would they go to the same space? That's not a 2v1 anymore. You just made it a 1v1. And go figure, he beat both of you. A goalkeeper expecting to get fouled and not getting fouled. And really, you didn't have a contingency plan? That like you had enough time on the ball. You could have looked around and gone, if I don't get kicked, let's make sure something else happens. But we don't teach thinking. It starts like anything else. It's like you have to start slow. You have to start small. Hey, did you notice the 2v1? Or like as that random example. And then you can speed it up. So when we faced a very fast Belgium squad, our decision making broke down because in our country, we aren't teaching the sport. We're teaching a version, and look at MLS. It's very similar. It's getting more possession based. You're seeing more team ideas. It used to be very direct, win the ball in their half, keep pushing until they make a mistake and capitalize on the mistake. And now that MLS is not American for the most part, you're starting to see some different styles come in and develop. Go figure, the ones that are winning it all are heavily not American. But that doesn't help our problem when it comes to helping the kids in our world. So what does that solution look like? Like again, I have kids in high school that's like, you don't know the sport. You're very athletic, but there are no ideas. You're not seeing what's happening. You don't understand what's happening because you never watched this game. You watch the highlights, so you expect that every moment is a highlight, and if you don't have the ball, you should freak out. No, just get into defensive shape. Just make them go backwards and sideways. Like if they have to go forward, it's easier to defend. So like, again, just that simple version. Like last year, new team, new high school, and they just were in freak out mode most of the game. And I went, you guys don't watch that. A soccer match is a story. There are times when that team will have the ball. You just have to weather the storm. you'll find a moment where you can win it back. Maybe it's a throw in, maybe it's a bad touch, maybe it's a poor pass. Then you can start working. But the idea of freak out and exhaust yourself trying to win the ball back in a bad area versus just getting into your defensive shape is a much different game. So what do we do about that? How do we develop soccer players, not athletes that play soccer or try and play soccer? One, it would be teaching a kid how to watch a match. I didn't know there were different ways to watch a soccer match. I stumbled upon it. You can watch the ball. You can see the immediate action. You can also look at the field, know where the ball is, and watch how the players are moving. I learned a lot about the sport. The last high school I coached at, one of the big decisions I made on the year, like I remember the match, they played a 4-3-3. I'm not there to just rock the boat. I want to see what it is and then see how I can help it. So, okay, you guys play a 4-3-3. These are the places that everybody has been playing. Show me that. So we started the season that way. They were very successful. They won everything that they played. But like there was one game, like third or fourth game in, where I'm going, I need those two on the field with this group. Like I'm not making that sub. I'm not putting him there. And it's like something could be better here. And I just kind of we played the game. They did great. They won it. This was the year that they went undefeated and won a state title. And I remember reflecting on the bus, like, how do I get those two in with that group? And it was just like 3-5-2. Yeah, like 3-5-2 gets that midfield core, and it strengthens us. Man, all right, 3-5-2. I don't know how to teach that really. I don't know that well enough. So I just watched a ton of pro matches with 3-5-2 in it. A lot of old inter matches. Chelsea at the time had a 3-5-2 and they were freaking phenomenal. I think AC Milan had a 3-5-2 at some point. I don't know. Man City was playing. I don't know. I don't remember who I was watching specifically, but I didn't watch the ball. I watched the play. I watched the field. And I went, oh, okay. So outside back is getting the ball currently. Ooh, interesting. That guy, the winger is coming into the inside pocket, and they're finding these seams and working off of them. I bet we could do that. So while we're playing, and it wasn't, hey, go stand on this cone, go stand over there. It was, hey, we're going to play a 2 at the front, wingers, 1 midfielder, and we put, I think, 2 in the back line. So 7s, 8v8 if you had a goalkeeper. And what we're going to do is create some rules that we want one of the 2 backs to work on finding the front of the field. But it was in the flow of play, and we just tried to find it and execute it. And if we didn't, we would just keep playing, and then we would look for it again. And I just kind of would talk to that forward. I would talk to that winger. They're not seeing the front of the field from the back, whatever it might be. So watching the sport is really how I understood the movements available with a 3-5-2, and they crushed it. Like there was a little hiccup where I remember at halftime we weren't winning as much as we should be against the team. And they're like, screw this, it's over, 4-3-3, we're done with that. No, go back out and try these things. And they did. They won that game, and that's where it kind of started to build. But we practiced through play most days of the week, and the captains we got to a relationship where they knew what I was doing. I am trying to teach you how to play the sport by playing the sport. Not standing in lines, not activities where it's all predetermined. You're going to play him, he'll play you, you'll play the ball wide, you'll whip it into the box. They need to be able to see that and recognize that without me downloading the information. So again, it's respecting how the sport is played on the biggest stages. There is so much more see, decide, act than there is act, see, decide, act. Of course, there are reaction moments. You have to. I just won it. Oh, thank God I got it off my foot to him. I didn't go, if I win it now, I'm going to play him. That was a reaction. But as soon as you have the ball, that's where things start to change. And you can start building. And you can start playing the ball around, looking for opportunities. How? Based on where the opponent is. Where is the space? Most coaches talk like this. But I also realize that me talking like this doesn't help players learn. I learned that a really upsetting and disappointing way. I never thought I'd be a head coach. I moved back to Oregon during the pandemic. No one's hiring a sports performance coach, so I needed to get back into head coach. I needed to go into head coaching if I wanted a job in soccer. I took on the director of goalkeeping. So now I'm a head coach for the first time, and I taught see, decide, act. Like that was the curriculum that I built, and we did a great, like it was fun. They got better all season. They started recognizing that they could switch the point of attack and get forward. They were starting to find the front of the field, the layoffs and the through balls. Like they were a great group. They were buzzing. I just couldn't go back. Really a moral and ethical reason for not going back to that club. I just felt like they were abusing their power as adults, and it just felt terrible to be around that. Like, no, let's teach the kids. Let's not take advantage of the kids for our paychecks. But I was like, I can't work for this little paycheck. And it was really so much more work coming and no change. And I went, guys, come on, go away. Like that sucks. So I thought, hey, well, at least I created a foundation for this group. They're doing well. They went and won a President's Cup, which is a second league cup. We had a lot of fun. They won a game outside of the state, which is not common. Most often, Oregon teams get knocked out pretty quick when they go and play other states. Never one way. You'll always get teams that get through, but again, you got to get lucky. I don't like luck, especially when we know so much about developing kids. It's not about luck. It is about doing a really good, hard work, planned effort over years. And that's why you need to pay coaches so that they stay, so you can actually build something. But at most places, they are underpaid, overworked, and that's a short-term employment. Like they'll try and find the next place with even a $500 increase. So the idea of just keeping coaches happy financially and the amount of work that they have to do, that's what really broke the back there. I'm in a mountain town. It's 3 hours away to the nearest home game. They elected not to play in the state league, so there were no travel. It was just practice during the pandemic, and then the league opened up, and it was the same paycheck now with 8 trips, 6 hours round trip over a pass, and it was like, yeah. You're not paying for more work, more effort, and that's when I realized that one of the foundational differences between what I saw in California and Oregon is that it's a professional thing down there. It's not a professional thing up here. How little can we get away with paying people? That's what it feels like, and we're gonna work their butts off. Whether you try and take the easiest route possible. If you're with 2 teams, 1 team, 18 kids, that's a lot of work. It's a lot. So just respecting that it should be more of a profession. It should be more of a big deal than it is I think the next step. And I think it'll happen. I think it's going to take someone coming and doing something completely different. I don't know that I can be that person, but like as soon as a club shows up and pays their coaches and their coaches don't leave, and now kids are like, you're seeing kids get better year after year because those coaches are like, hey, I'm really good with these two age groups. Great. Take them. The next guy, you're really good with these, and you just start moving kids through them, and the coaches are talking to each other and understand what their role is in a bigger picture. That's not happening. It's much more a get lucky that you got a good coach, keep them as long as possible. They'll leave. They'll try and stay, but they'll get put on a different team, whatever it is, and hope that your next coach is great. It could be fresh to the club, could be no licensing, whatever. So it is really kind of feels like a circus, feels like kind of the Wild West. And it's not bashing anybody. Like it is what it is. Like if we just call it what it is and stop saying that it's something else, like it would be helpful. But I know that affects a lot of people. Like I have a job right now. I need this job. Leave it alone. I get it, but that's why I'm not there. So I can talk about kind of my experience and what could be different. So again, going back to, hey, kids don't watch it. They watch the highlights. They expect a soccer match to be just a highlight reel of tons of fun action. They're not taught to enjoy it at young ages. They're not allowed to explore it because we have coaches around them so fast that if nothing changed, I would just say, hey, who is the nicest parent that gets it? That gets that they are a mentor for these kids, that it's not your job to tell them what to do. It's not your job to keep them, like paint the picture as to why they lost, and it's not because you weren't good enough. Like stop sugarcoating things. If we do, we can hit rock bottom as a state and start to do something else. So it would be just leave them alone. If it's a 4v4 league, great. Every soccer practice, we're going to play 4v4. And just let you play. If it's a 7v7, 9v9, I think it goes 4v4, 9v9. No, there's a 7v7, I think, in there. And that would be another interesting aspect of adding a different model would be, like I watched the last year of 9v9, and they're too big for that field. They're actually going backwards. They're learning bad habits because we just said, well, we're just going to have one field size for these three age groups that are growing. Well, that's pre-puberty for boys, and they look like they are crammed onto a soccer field. So if you're not going to bring it to sevens, we need to have some flexibility with how big these fields are. Why not build max spec and then use different lines versus, well, we can fit two comfortably on this size field, but it's not the appropriate sizing. I also think that there should be a field size between 9v9 and 11v11. I also think if you, in your first year of 11s, that you should probably stick with a size 4 soccer ball. Or I've heard, but I've never seen and confirmed, that a lot of European countries use a size 5 that is the weight of a size 4. Brilliant. So most kids entering 11v11, the field is too big. The ball is too heavy. You're building bad habits. Kids can't hit it if they need to hit it. They are running in a ridiculous amount of space in comparison. So what do? They just stay in the middle. That's not the sport. So it would be just leave them alone. If we don't have great coaches, if we have highly paid coaches that understand the early development model and what you need to do for the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds, awesome. Like you will have much better kids. But if you don't, and it's just kind of we need the money, then put someone that just enjoys being with kids. Because even then, I see a lot of guys that are just unhappy, angry, irritated when they are around little kids like that. And it's not right. So it would be leave them alone, let them play the sport. 3v3, 4v4, 7v7, 9v9, whatever it is. talk to the parents, say, do not tell them what to do. We are not decision makers for them. Let's cheer when they do something great, and let's pick them up when they do something, when they make a mistake. That's it. Don't tell them to shoot. Don't go, 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 Jimmy, while they're running the sideline. Just leave them alone. Wait for something to happen and cheer. Or give them encouragement. That would be the best environment for the little guys. That, I think, will give you some flexibility as they get into the puberty years. And again, I'm talking on the boys' side. I've spent more time on the boys' side than I have on the girls' side. I can talk a little bit about the girls' side, but nothing in comparison. I know one thing I know for certain is that U14 girls need a very, 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 very awesome woman involved in their coaching. Like, they are going through puberty. It is much different for girls than it is boys. And I knew I couldn't help in certain ways. I knew I was falling short. And that sucks. Like, I'm there to try and help kids holistically. But a 13-year-old girl is going through stuff. And they need someone that understands what they're going through, like I understand what a 13, 14-year-old boy is going through. So that was one place where I just went, man, like, the girls are so smart. They are, like, it's so much fun. They are so much more communal, and they are, like, there's a cutthroat aspect to their development, but historically, like, they learn so much faster. They connect so much better. I enjoyed the environment tremendously, but I find myself on the boys' side a lot more. So then they hit those puberty years, and you look at it and go, okay, well, what have they gotten so far? They've gotten a love for the game. They've played a ton of the sport, because in training they played the sport, in games they played the sport. We didn't break it down. We didn't give them activities to do. We respected said principle and said, you will get better at what you do, so let's make sure it's the sport. Then you get them into the puberty years. There's not a lot of thought process going on there. It is very social and status and respect driven. So that's kind of what you would build for it. Is, hey, let's put some status builders. Let's put some respect builders on, hey, 10 points of respect if I see that ball goes from this side to that side. As just a off the top of my head example. But they need those types of things. They need to feel like the things that they are doing are leading to gaining respect out of their peers, out of the adults around, and gaining status. So that's much more within their group of, hey, I'm considered a great player. I'm not, whatever it might be. I'm a basketball. Like, they're going through their initial identity phase at that point. So really, those 2 years are just kind of a, hang on, they'll get better. Like, they lose their minds, and then they come back around. And then you've got a player that has all of the technical ability because they have played so much. They have naturally gained the understanding of how to play the sport by playing it. Ideally, we figure out how to get kids into watching the sport, even if it's 5 minutes at a time. Watching it to understand it, not just watching the ball and watching the action. You could have a kid in a lot, that's the reality of it. I would love to bring kids into live matches and just sit with them and go, watch him for the next 3 minutes. You'll learn something. Watch the center mid for 3 minutes. But on TV, it follows the action. So it's like, I don't know what that center mid is doing right now. But I think a kid could learn the game simply by watching a player playing the position that they want to play and then go play with an environment that is supportive of everything. You'll make mistakes. You'll do awesome stuff. Do it all. And by the time they get into that freshman, sophomore, junior year at a high school, now you've got a soccer player. And now you can start really working on team dynamics of, okay, we're going to have roughly the same core here for a certain amount of time, whether it's high school or college, that's how it works. And now we're going to be able to work on things that are very specific to this group. And that's where film would come in. That's where these cool options would come in. But again, the initial thought was, Yeah, it's all great if the kids know the sport, but they don't. So let's go back and work on the things that you can't expect them to know anything because it's based on luck. So work on the technical pieces, work on the dribbling, work on the passing, put it into live play, like just 1 and 2 touch passes only while they're playing sevens. That will work on passing. I want you to beat a player before you pass it. Again, just creating rules to get the behavior in 7v7, 9v9, 11v11, 2v2. I don't care. But the current environment, one, there's not enough field space to learn the full game. So you have to really be abstract. Well, kids don't think abstract like that. Hey, I want you to put yourself into the middle third, even though we're in a half or a quarter. It's hard. It's so. I wish it was true. Like I've tried, but I haven't seen a ton of success with it. And I've sat and watched hundreds of games by this point in pre-professional, college, every age group down to U12, and have spent time in the little guy world too, but not matches. So I've seen matches, and there have been a handful that went, it's a great team performance. Like they understand the game based on and how their team is wanting to play. Most, again, there are great moments. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the same. It's very reaction. It's very odds based. It's betting that the other team makes mistakes or something like that. So it's just a different path. It's a different path than we're currently doing. And I think just adding some deliberate intention, like we know way more about how to teach kids how to play sports than ever before, but we're not adopting all the new information yet. We know there are coaches that fit certain age groups better than others, identifying them, paying them, keeping them so that you can build a core around these kids. It would be a really important task. And that's it for today. Again, it was kind of like I'm not sure what I want to talk about today, so let's just press record and see what happens. And there you go. It's a idea of how do we develop kids better in our country. It's not about film. It's not about fancy training equipment. It's not anything but, like, again, if we start young and we teach them how to watch a player playing the sport, if they are watching the sport at all, which they aren't, and then just playing the sport with someone that is there to support them and make sure that they're enjoying themselves, I think is better than we currently are doing things. And it wouldn't take that much. It would actually take less on the little kid side, because now you're not trying to pay a bunch of coaches that don't know what they're doing. You would just give the kids the license, like street soccer, if you will. Just let them play. I think we're ruining a lot of kids before they can even get started, and then teach them how to watch the sport. Be pretty wild if that now got me a player that I go, great, they know all of the things that I need them to know to make a team game. But I know that won't be the case. We're going to work on the things that they probably, even if they worked on them, they didn't get a lot of reps in them, I can guarantee it. Like if you're doing 3 days a week in anything for an hour, it's going to take a long time to get better at it. So, yeah, there it is.